Hello, my name is Tim Richter from Arcor. I wanted to talk to you today about the rise we're seeing in hacking. Phishing is definitely on the rise due to the coronavirus epidemic. Hackers are starting to take advantage of individuals through email, postal mail, and even phone calls. So, how can you tell specifically if an email is fake? I The way that you would do is, again, look closely at an email address to make sure it's spelled correctly. So many times a hacker or a phishing attempt will spell an email address close to what it should be, but is not really accurate, like cdc.gov. A possible fake would be cdc-gov.com. That isn't necessarily a fake address, but that's what could be there in it, or cdc.gv instead of gov. So just beware of that. Hover over any links that would be in your email. In other words, go and hover over it, don't click, but you can see where the link is actually going many times because it will pop up a short little address, and make sure that it's going somewhere valid. Watch for poor grammar. A lot of times what hackers will do, and this is for just the generic hackers, is they'll go and they'll translate with something like Google Translate from another language into English. So you may ask, why are they sending these to me with known issues like that? Well, if they can send out 100 million of them and they get a half of 1%, they're in the tens of thousands of responses. And if they even get 1% of those, they're in the hundreds of actual positive hits where they actually get some return. What are they going to get in return? Well, things like you download a file, which brings me to the last item with an email. Never download a file in an email unless you definitely know where it comes from and who it's from. With downloading a file, you can click yes, 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 open, thinking that it's really an invoice or really a message from your supervisor, and it will come up and infect not only your computer, but it'll stretch all the way to your company network and infect that. However, phishing attempts are getting much, much more sophisticated. One thing that we've seen with the COVID-19 emails is they will take and spoof your supervisor's email address, send to all of the staff members, and say, someone in the office has been infected, please click here to disinfect, or please click here to get more information. Thinking that, oh, okay, it's my supervisor, it's John, it's Susan, it's Amy, and yes, this is valid, so I'm just going to click on it and continue on, and what will happen is, again, they're trying to either infect you or they're trying to get information from you. Which brings it to one of the other things that's happening is a combination of emails and phone calls. So what will happen is they'll gather information about you, about your company off the dark web, and they will start emailing you and also calling you in follow-up to the emails, saying, I've been trying to get in touch with you, or I've been, not receiving a response back from you. So be very careful. We're used to the salespeople calling us, we're used to telemarketers, but we're not really used to this type of advancement that's going on where fake emails, fake phone calls, and everything are going on. So the best advice I can give you is stop, pause, think, take a breath before you click or answer. And never give out any information like passwords, personal information, bank accounts, credit cards. It may seem like this is logical, but in the emotional environment that we're in right now, a lot of times we will go, oops, after it's done. But if you stop, pause, take a breath, you'll come to your realization that this isn't really something that you want to give out, or you want to make sure if it's your bank, you want to call them and back and make sure that it's valid. Look on the internet, get your bank number, and call them. Don't call the phone number that the person over the phone is giving you, because obviously that could reroute directly to them. But instead, look the number up and call your local branch and say, hey, I just want to know that this is valid. So the last thing I want to touch on is that fake stimulus checks have been going out. And most of them, one of two things happens. One is they're saying, we don't have your bank account number. We need you to call the information in. Remember that the federal government either will have your banking account number off of your last tax return, and if they don't, they're going to send you a check. They're not going to send you a piece of paper or a check-looking document that says, please call us with your routing information. They're not going to say, we need your PayPal information. Again, those are things that I know you want your money, I know you need your money, but you're going to have to go and figure out what's valid and what isn't. The last thing is, before you endorse the back of the check, make sure that there's no agreement on the back of it. I don't know how many pieces of junk mail I've gotten in the mail that have had where they're willing to give me $5,000, but if you look at the back of the check, you're agreeing that that's either A, a loan with high interest rate, or B, is that you're agreeing to them taking even more out of your checking account, and by endorsing the back of the check, you are actually signing an agreement. So read the back of a check, because remember, if it sounds too good to be true, if it looks too good to be true, or if it looks kind of hinky and it isn't really what you're used to seeing, it probably is something that you should avoid. So what we've covered today is the fact that when you get emails in, make sure that you know the origin before you open it. Make sure that you question every document that's attached. Make sure that you stop, take a breath, pause for just a little bit, then do your action. You can always go and have a delay in your response, but you can never pull back once you have responded. So I hope this is helpful. Again, this is Tim with Arcor. Stay safe and be well. Have a good day.